Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet featured author interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And once again, it's me, your host, Rob Lambert, here with the RM Hive, and our guest for today is the author of the books Family Memories with a Little Mystery in It, A Widow's Cry, Encouraging a Friend with Our Trials, Servant's Heart from the Voice of a Volunteer, and talking about her book for today, which is Our Furry Friends and What They Teach Us. Please help me welcome Miss Jamie Pulos-Fry. So, Jamie, how are we doing today?
We're doing wonderful, and thank you so much for having me today.
Okay, and by the way, Jamie, welcome back to the Hive. It's nice to have another interview with you and talking more about the books that you have right now. And today, we're talking more about our furry friends and what they teaches us, and also to all of our viewers there. Book is available there. We're going to be adding a link on the comments below. We can pin it up so you can just click on the link, grab a copy, and if you want to follow more, though, again, we'll talk more about this book and see what this book has in store for you. But before we move forward, though, Jamie, can you please give us a little bit background of who you are as an author, Jamie?
Sure. This is, like you said, my fifth book. I, and I'm already striving to do a sixth one. And, you can always follow me on Jamie's Bookshelf on my website, which is www.two number 4 avalon.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have my books in ReadersMagnet, blurb.com, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. I am the author of Encouraging a Friend with Our Trials, Servant's Heart with the Voice of a Volunteer, as well as Widow's Cry, a helpful tool for widows ministry, plus my fourth book, which I did last year, was Family
Yes.
Memories with a Little Mystery in It. So today we will be talking about my fifth book, which is Our Furry Friends and What They Teach Us. Through our Bibles, you guys. It's through our Bibles, though. Remember that.
Through our Bible. Let's
Yes.
highlight it. Our furry friends and what they teach us through our Bibles. Let me just
Yes.
highlight that. Okay. So, so Jamie, again, last year we had this conversation talking about your fourth book, and now we're talking about your latest book. So, what inspired you to write your fifth book? And one follow-up question is, why do you believe it's important to give children a reason to have a pet in their home?
Well, for one reason, I started writing this book because so many people were asking me questions about taking care of their dogs, their pets. My
Mhm.
dog lady passed away. She had health issues like heart failure, and she was on medication for about 3 years. And I had decided to do this book in honor of her. So, with
Mm,
a little bit more research, this book came to be. Now, as far as the last part of the question, I it's why is it important? We need to
yes.
teach our kids responsibility.
Mm,
Okay. So having a pet in the family is a good idea. Okay. You want to make sure, though, if you already have a pet before you start having children, you need to
true.
teach them how to take care of them. But if you have a child and then you start bringing in kids in the family, guess what? If you do not teach them responsibility, you're you're going to end up taking care of the pet instead of the children. So I recommend don't give them a pet in the family until they're at least 10 years old, because otherwise you will be taking care of that child and that dog. You'll end up taking care of two children instead of just one. Okay.
And I do agree with that because we parents would really love to give dogs to their children, and then they teach your children some responsibilities, but eventually the parents take care of the children, take care of the children as well as the pets at the
Yeah.
same time. And yeah, and I do agree with your suggestion though. So again, if ever you're planning to give your child a pet, wait for them to be 10 years old and teach them responsibility when it comes with it.
Exactly.
Okay. And also, Jamie, so again, talking with this book here, because again, talking more about pets and talking about the story of this book. So, what do you really hope readers will take away from your book regarding the relationship between pets and their owners then?
There's many things, but you have to understand pets can give you health benefits as well.
Hmm.
Taking a dog for a walk. Okay. It can help, decrease stress, improve your mood. I loved it
Mhm.
when my dog, when I would come home from work and she was laying there by the door waiting for me.
Mm.
It was, yeah, oh yeah, it was just so sweet. You felt so special, and she made you feel so special. That's how
Mm.
you need to be doing that with relationships with your people, your
Mm.
husband, your friends. treat them special. And that's what dogs are trying to teach you. They love you unconditionally. No matter what you do to them, they love you. And that's what we need to do, learn forgiveness, unconditional love. So many things that are important that they teach us. They teach us trust. They teach us, they whine a lot. What do you think we do?
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
Sure.
so these are things that, you need to tone down, make sure that you're not doing it all the time, because you come back as a negative person all the time if you're talking about all the things that are going on in your life. So you got to watch those things, okay? Plus, they can help you decrease your blood pressure. You're all kinds of things, and they also plus improve emotional and social skills for kids, because now they can reach out and not just focus on themselves only. Now they get out the door, they talk to people that are walking on the street. I remember when I was taking my dog for a walk and everything, I kind of learned all my neighbors. The garage doors would be open or whatever. They'd be walking and I'd be talking to them and saying hi. Well, they remembered me more about my dog than me sometimes, but it's a way of opening up the door to talking to your neighbor. So it's the same thing with your dog, and your kids. You give them a reason to go out the door instead of sitting in front of a computer all day or their cell phone or whatever game they're playing. It gives them a reason to go outside and greet people. Okay, so those are some of the reasons there. So, and it also teaches, it's going to teach you patience. This book will help you with a lot of Bible verses as well as poems. Are going to help you understand that this is what we teach our kids, ourselves, is to have patience, love and care and understanding. And this is something that our dogs do all the time. We just have to pay attention and watch them, and they'll teach you these things. And you're just like, wow, they're wagging their tail. They're telling you they love you. We need to learn to know how to do that too. And we need to learn how to tell people how we love them. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's just saying, you look so nice today. Those kinds of things. And so it's what we do with our pets will rub off to us and teach us to talk to people. And that's what pets are for. They're to teach us a lot of things that we don't even realize that they teach us. So I've had pets for most of my life. Most of them have been dogs. Some of them been cats. Some of them been frogs and fish. But but those are the things. Yeah, but we have those things, and we sometimes we just take it for granted, and some people do. We take our family members for granted, our dogs for granted, but if you notice them and look through their eyes, you're going to learn a lot of things from them.
Love that. And I do agree with what you're saying here, Jamie. Especially dogs, because pet, and I'm talking specifically about dogs here, and they always have this thing like when you get home after a tiresome day, they always have the energy to put you in a good mood. And even you're tired, you can always sit down and pet them, and you can just feel how genuine they feel towards you. And that is something that a lot of pets can really exhibit, and something that a lot of family homes could really have one. But talking more about family homes here, Jamie. So how do you believe pets can contribute to creating also a positive and loving family environment then? Because again, if we're having this gateway to talk to neighbors, teaching us how to treat each other, so how can this create a positive and loving family environment then?
I'm going to tell you a little story.
Sure. Let's go with that. I love that. That.
This one, you'll have to watch this, but it's called, I'm talking about a movie called How to Train Your Husband. Okay. It's an old Sandra Dee movie made in 1962. You might like to look it up. Okay. It's placed in France. Okay. The mother is French and the father is American. The daughter gets married and is having an issue with her husband to do something. She basically wants him to do something and he doesn't want to do it. Okay. So the mother gives her daughter a small book to train her husband. You will not believe it until you see the movie that the small book was about training your pet dog. Okay. I'm not going to say any more than that. You will have to watch the movie and buy my book to understand more. What I'm trying to say here is the relationships in the environment that we have are the same as our pets, same as our dog. You have to learn. She had to learn to find out what his favorite meal was. She had to learn where his sensitive spot was, to get his attention, like behind his ear. And she had to learn how to love him so he would do what she wanted. That's what the movie was about, was training her husband to do what she wanted. So
Okay.
if you look at it that way, it's a cute way of looking at it, but that's how you have an environment. You're supposed to have a loving, caring relationship with your pet as well as your husband. If you want the same attention that you're getting from your dog, guess what? You need to give the same attention to your husband to get the same attention back. So
Love that.
watch what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? With your dog, then you might get the same attention from you're giving your dog the best treats in the world, right? Well, then find out what your best treat is for your husband, right? And then maybe he'll do what you want if you find out what his favorite meal is, what his favorite dessert is. You should have already know that anyways, if you married him, right? But those are things that, but they change over time. Everybody's changes. They do. So, but this is what I'm trying to say here. The book is related not to just dogs and kids, but family. And it makes more of a loving relationship if you treat them the same. Then you don't have this jealousy either, because you're giving all this attention to your dog and not giving any to your husband, and your husband's going to go, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So, you train your dog to do what you want, right? So you're going to need to do the same with your husband. If you want him to sit, right? You figure out how to do that. Well, it's the same thing with your husband. If you want something, you got to teach them, figure out how to get them to do that. This movie shows you. It's really funny. It's cute. It's hilarious. I love watching it. But yeah, something that, that's very interesting point of view, for you to look at. So that's just something cute. I bring up.
Okay. Hey, don't worry. Just want to make sure. So that's going to be How to Train Your Husband. That's the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, How to Train Your Husband. Or I'm going to put in my future movies to watch. I'm going to check it out though, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Okay.
Sure.
And also again, Jamie, talking more about family as well. Talking more about children, as what you've mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, how do you think that your book could help people see the value of having pets, especially in homes with children? Then.
Well, let's see. You will teach them by having them, pets and children together. You as an adult will do the same things that, whatever you're trying to teach your dog, you can teach your child. Okay. So if you're trying to teach your dog obedience, well, if you're having problems with your daughter or your son and they're not obeying and they're not following the rules and they're not, well, guess what? Whatever you're doing with your pet, from my book, it explains you can do the same thing with your child. Okay. So they're really related. We just don't notice it. We don't realize how you train a dog, you can train your child. Okay. The same thing. So, and there's games and there's ways of teaching them patience. Teaching them, there's games and stuff in the book as well.
Okay.
To help them, teach them patience, teach them how to deal with people and how to deal with things and associating with people. It's my book starts out really long with training. Okay. And it has a lot of that in it. So you're not just training your dog, but you're also training your kids. You're training your parents, not your parents, but
not the parents specifically.
You could at a point, because they like to do things to your kids that you don't like.
True.
Like give them desserts and stuff that you wouldn't normally give them. Your parents love to do that, and that's something I think they deserve. Though that's something grandparents have the right to do. So that's okay. Okay, they get that privilege now, so we cannot take that away from them. But you have to have some control in your life and in your family. So when you ask your child to do something, they do it without question. That's what your dog does. They do it without question. But you got to train them certain things. It's just the same thing with your dog. You have to train them certain ways, so they'll do it. The same thing with your kid. You know,
Hmm.
get them up in the mornings. Well, you got to make sure you're making their favorite breakfast then, or
True.
whatever it is, that'll get them up in the morning. So they'll go to school and get on time.
Hmm.
Those are things that you got to figure out. Every family is different, but the environment is the environment that you make, a positive environment. And you also have
Hmm.
to make an open door for them to be able to talk
Agree.
to you.
I
If
agree
there's a
with that.
problem or an issue, well, that's another thing. Unconditional love, right? Trust.
Hmm.
You know, those are things that the Bible teaches you as well as your pets teach you. So if you've got trust with your children, they're going to do whatever you want. Don't ever lie to them. Don't ever try to con them into doing something, because that'll never work, because it'll come back to bite you, because someone's going to tell them, well, your mother did this or that. They didn't really do it. So you got to
Yeah.
watch what you say. It's the same thing with your dog.
Hmm.
If you want them to do something, you teach them a certain trick. Well, it's the same thing with your kids, really. But it's not a trick. It's more like responsibility. It's more like to teach them to trust you. And so you got to
Agree.
watch what you're saying, what you're doing, for them, as well as when you're at church or wherever. If you said something to them, it better match with what's going on at church as well, because they do
True.
pay attention. They have open ears and open eyes, okay? And they
Hmm.
pay attention to everything you're saying, you're doing. So you got to watch that. And like I said, it all associates. The pets help you with those kinds of things, because when you're training them, your pets, you got to
Of
realize
course.
you're training the kids the same way.
I
There's,
agree. I agree.
like I said, there's games in there, all kinds of stuff to teach them certain things. And
Hmm.
I had fun writing this book. Actually, it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, and I can really notice the fun that you're having when it comes with telling about stories about this book here and talking more about the content of the book. And you know
yeah,
what, Jamie, before we wrap up this interview here, and again, trying to make a message and talking more about this book before we wrap this up, is there any, specific pet related stories or moments in your life that you have basically influence the message that you're sharing within your book then?
sure. There was one dog
Hmm.
that I had when I was a teenager,
Okay.
and until I was in my 20s or older. And I remember an experience. I was outside. I was upset. I was crying. Okay.
Hmm.
And this dog didn't just come over and say hi to me. She didn't just lick my hand. I was sitting there on the ground outside my window, my bedroom, and she got in my lap and just started looking up at me and started just letting me pet her and relax and calm down. And the smile on her face, and she licked my face, and she said everything. She just made you feel like everything's going to be okay.
Hmm.
And that is the most loving thing that you can ever have from an animal, knowing that you're not doing well and knowing that right
True.
now she needs a hug. And this is the best hug that she could give me. So for me, that's one of the memories that I remember. Plus, I have cat memories as well.
Okay.
These are silly ones. They were kittens, and they saw a light or something, and they decided they wanted to jump on the curtain, and then they
Hmm.
got stuck. These are kittens,
Okay.
okay? And they got stuck
Okay.
on the curtain. I'm like, okay, now how do I get off of this? Okay, so it's just cute little memories of things like that. And then I had a frog, and I've had a turtle, and all those kinds
Uh-huh.
of things. So those are all kinds of memories as well. The frog we had gotten it. Um, where were we?
Hmm.
In we call it Whitefront. Okay,
Okay.
it's a place where you go fishing.
Okay.
It's a trout farm, okay? And so they had frogs in a little pond
Mhm.
that they had. So we took one home, and
Okay.
we had it for a long, long time. We put it underneath the faucet outside in the backyard, and we let the water drip. And so it
Mm.
would just drink the water. So memories of a frog and having a frog in the backyard, making all kinds of noises and stuff. And it stayed around for a long, long time. So these
Mhm.
are just cute little memories that I have of all the pets in my life, and all the things, how they touched me, and how they you know those little stories about getting warts and stuff from frogs, they're not true. Never had any.
Okay, that clears up the issue. Okay.
But yeah, pets are important. They remind us to have a good day. They remind us to have a positive attitude about whatever's going on. I miss mine right now. I've gone back to school. I'm a college member now, so it's like I don't have time to train a new pet. You know what I'm saying? So we'll
True.
see. Maybe next year when I have a little bit more time. But I miss having a pet in my life. As you can see, the ones that I've had have really been so special. So I missed having a pet in my life.
And everyone deserves to have a pet in their life,
Yeah,
and at least to have a furry companion, or you can have a slimy one, or even a scaly one. Depends
yeah,
on
yeah.
what type of,
Yeah,
what type
whatever
of pet
works.
you want, though. So
Exactly.
okay, you know what? And again, to all of our viewers, though, and if ever you want to know more about these stories from Jamie, I would highly suggest for you to grab a copy right now, though. It's available on Amazon and also on her website, though. Let me just post that up. It's already in the comments. That's at 24avalon.com. That's TWO, the number 4, Avalon. It's AVALON.com. Feel free to visit the website. Feel free to check out her books. And if you're going to be grabbing this copy, which is Our Furry Friends and What They Teach Us, grab all the books. They're there. They're up there. Get the Jamie Pulos-Fry series books. Okay,
Yeah,
go
get my
for it.
collection.
Get the whole collection. Okay, what are you waiting for? It's available on Amazon. Easy for you to purchase. All you got to do is just click on the link that we added on the comment section below, so you can be routed to the website. Just to make it easier for you guys. Okay, there. So, and also one more thing I want to say, Jamie. Though, again, always timeless and timeless again. It was really fun to have this conversation with you. And I want to say thank you very much for joining us today. And it's such a pleasure. And I really feel the enthusiasm and fun that you had talking more about this book. Really loved it.
Thank you. And thank you for having me today. And thank you,
So,
Rita's Magnet, for just having me and having some fun today.
really love that. And again to all of our viewers, though, thank you very much for also tuning in. And always remember that every ending is a new beginning in the world of stories. May your reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Readers Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you and have a good one. Bye, Jamie.
Bye.